What's up guys, today I just wanted to show you some exercise and workouts you could do with the rock. Even though I do have access to equipment, I still like to sometimes do workouts with the rocks because since you have to squeeze the rock so you don't drop them and they're different shapes, I feel like you work out more and different muscles and it just gives you a different type of strength. And it's also nice going outside and using nature's equipment once in a while because since I used to play football, I used to do that all the time, but now I do martial arts. Most of my workouts and training sessions are inside. So yeah, it's just nice going outside, training, and getting some vitamin D and doing the kind of thing Liver King would respect. And this is perfect if you live near a creek or some train tracks like I do. So obviously there's tons of upper body exercises you could do with the rock, but these are just the ones that I like to do. So first, around the worlds. I saw Khabib Nurmagomedov do these when he was on a mountain in Dagestan. And I already do this exercise a lot with a kettlebell, so I thought it would be perfect to add it in. But yeah, this is really good for your shoulders and it works out your core a little bit too. This is especially good if you're a grappler because your shoulder is always being put in weird positions. And this is also really good for boxing because shoulder injuries are really common in boxing and you need strong shoulders to stay healthy. I have an uncle that goes to physical therapy in Uriah Faber's gym, Team Alpha Male, up in Sacramento. And he says a lot of the fighters always deal with shoulder injuries when he's there. So yeah, this exercise should help a little bit with having healthy shoulders. Next is push-ups. I used to do this all the time on a medicine ball, so I thought, oh, why not just do it on the rock too? And since the rock isn't like the most perfect ball, I feel like it makes you have to work out like a little bit differently since your hands will be in slightly different positions. I feel like it also translates to sports better because you're never going to push someone in the perfect area. Like their body will never just be a completely flat surface, a flat and perfect surface. So I feel like doing push-ups on the rock is more realistic than doing it with a bar or on the floor with a flat surface. Then there's tricep extensions. This is a really easy one you could do. And like I was saying at the start, since you have to squeeze the rock so you don't drop it, I feel like it works out a tiny bit more muscles than if you were just using the bar or some dumbbells. Like every single exercise where you're picking up a rock also works out your forearms a little bit too. Then same thing with curls. You're also having to squeeze it together while you curl it up so you don't drop it. But the tricep extensions and curls are just some really easy stuff you could do. And it's great to superset it too. And if you don't know, supersetting is where you do one exercise right after the other. Last one of the upper body exercises I like to do is front raises. Of course, you could just go to eye level, but I just like to bring it overhead because I feel like it's more functional that way. And again, this is great for your shoulders. This is more for the front of your shoulder than the back or the sides of your shoulder. Most people, of course, do it to their eyes, but I do it overhead because I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger doing it in a video a long time ago. And you know, I'm a big fan of him, so I just thought, why not? So yeah, these are the upper body exercises I like to do. Hope you give it a try. Next is the explosive and functional movements I like to do. Of course, there are many others, but these are just the three that I like to do. So first is shot put throws. Of course, it's not perfect technique when I do it, but if you do try these out, the main thing is to point your toe when you take the step to throw it. This way you're not twisting on your knee in a weird position, and this way you won't hurt your knee. So yeah, just when you take the step to throw it with your front foot, just make sure that toe is pointed in the direction you're throwing. And with your upper body, yeah, you just throw it like you're throwing a shot put. So it's more of a push than an actual throw because that's how you technically throw a shot put. And just make sure you're twisting with the hips because that's where most of the power will come from. And I know with the shot put you're supposed to face the other direction first, but here I'm just getting, a quick rotation in. One day I should definitely learn how to do the proper technique of an actual shot put, but for now this will do. Next is push throws. We used to do these all the time in college, but on our knees. But since I'm not in the comfort of a gym, I'm not going to get on my knees in this situation. So I'll just do it standing up. When I do this, I still use my hips a lot. So again, it's not really an upper body exercise. It's more of a full body kind of thing. But the majority of power is coming from my legs. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You just bend your hips and push it out and throw it as far as possible. Or however far you're trying to throw it. So last of the explosive and functional movements is the push press. In this case, since I don't want to lift too heavy of a rock in case I drop it on my head, I do a full squat instead of just a partial squat to make the exercise harder. And so I have to use less weight. I recommend doing the same if you do this exercise. But yeah, for this you just squat down and push all the way up and extend your shoulders on the way. And you also use the momentum from the squat to push the rock up, not just using your upper body when you do the push over your head. I really feel this exercise gets you really strong because of how hard it is to do, especially with the rock. But yeah, these are just some explosive and functional movements that I like to do with the rock also. The last section of exercise is legs. The first exercise is Goblet Squat. This is just where you hold the rock to your chest and, do squats like normal. Since you're holding the weight in the front, it's less less load on your lower back and more load on your quads. This is great if you're recovering from a lower back injury like I was, and you're not trying to put too much load on your spine, or you just want to work out your quads a little bit more. But yeah, this is a really good exercise. Another is walking lunges. It's just same thing, you just do lunges while walking if you've done this in the gym, and again, you just hold the rock to your chest. I've seen some people do walking lunges with the weight overhead, but I just like to do it holding the rock to my chest. But if you do it with the weight overhead, I feel like it will work your core out really good. I just think it's a tiny bit unsafe to hold a rock over your head for that long. But if you're trying to get stronger, you gotta do what you gotta do. Next is Romanian deadlifts. This is a great exercise if you want to work out your lower back, hamstrings, and glutes, which is called your posterior chain, and it's very important if you're doing sports. But this exercise is a tiny bit complicated to do, so I'd watch a couple tutorials on it. But the main thing is to keep your back straight, and it's more of a hip hinge than actually squatting down, even though you still bend your knees a tiny bit. That's the basics of it, but I'd still watch an instructional video if you're going to do this exercise. And I highly recommend doing this exercise because it's just a great exercise for your posterior chain. I'll actually link a tutorial that I trust in the description below. The last leg exercise that I like to do is single leg RDLs. Again, this works out your posterior chain really good, but I more do this for balance. But it will also work your single leg strength really good, like the walking lunges. And the walking lunges and single leg RDLs are really good to do for sports because it's very rare you're going to have perfect weight distribution when doing sports. So if you're doing sports, it's a really important ability to be strong on one leg. But again, with the single leg RDLs, just try your best to keep your back straight. So yeah, that's the last section of the exercise. Let's get into the workouts. So I usually do the rock exercises as a finisher after I do some other stuff. For example, I might do some hill sprints or some shadow boxing, or sometimes my friend Wilson comes over and we'll hold Thai pads for each other, and then we'll just do some exercises with the rocks. And that's always nice. And when I was playing football, I'd do some field work and then come to the rocks, do some exercises. But some other times I do it is when I'm too sore to go to the gym. So I'll just come to the rocks, and since you can't lift as heavy with the rocks, I'll just do the rock exercises. And it's good to still do some training when you're sore because this will help get blood flow to your muscles, which will help speed up the healing process. I might go over this in another video or do some more recovery workouts that I recommend. But yeah, still training a tiny bit even when you're sore will help speed up the recovery process. This is actually known as active recovery. Another really good time to do rock training is if you're working out with a friend and you mostly just want to talk. This isn't really etiquette to do this at 24-hour fitness while there's a bunch of people next to you working out, but if it's just you and your friend outside with no one else around, it's perfectly fine. And this way you still get a really good workout in, while also getting some vitamin D and being out in nature. And of course, if you don't have access to a gym, like if COVID ever hits again, or your gym is closed for the holidays, or you just don't have access to any equipment, this is perfect. So you could get as creative as you want with working out with the rock, but these are just the workouts that I like to do. So a good upper body finisher that I like to do is just 4 sets of 20 as a circuit for 3 exercises. So I'll do the around the worlds 20 times, and I'll do the tricep extensions 20 times, and I'll do the curls 20 times. And then I'll take a little break and then I'll repeat this 3 more times. And if I'm feeling up for it, I would get a bigger rock each set. If you want to work on your athleticism or being more explosive, this is a really good one to do. So after I do some Thai pads or some sprinting, I'll just grab a rock and do 40 throws with it. I got the number 40 because this is how much Westside Barbell recommends. And I feel like 40 is perfect because if I do too much, then I'll be too sore. But if I do too little, it'll feel like I didn't get a workout in. So yeah, I just feel like 40 is the perfect number. And you could do this in different ways. You could just do straight 40 throws, or you could do 10 sets of 4, or you could do 4 throws, take a break, 4 throws, take a break, and do that 10 times. Or you could do 5 sets of 8 or 4 sets of 10. Whatever you want, just 40 throws seems to be a good number for me. And that's how much I recommend doing. And they could be the shot put throws or the push throws, whatever you want. There's obviously a lot of other throws you could try, but those are just my 2 favorite ones. For example, you could do an underhand throw with a twist, or you could do an overhead throw, like something like this. Whatever you want, really. Then yeah, after the 40 throws, I'll just go into 3 sets of 10 single leg RDLs, just so I could work on my balance also, and get some posterior chain work in. But yeah, that's an athletic workout you could do. Hope you give it a try. Last is a lower body workout you could do. So with this, I'll just do 50 goblet squats. And I won't do it 50 straight. I'll do like 10, take a break, 10, take a break, 7, take a break, 5, take a break, whatever you want. And then I'll just do this until I get to 50 squats. Then I'll do the same thing, but with walking lunges. And you could either do this 50 on each leg or just 50 in total, whatever you feel like. Obviously, if you're doing 50 each leg, you won't be able to go as heavy. And if you just do 50 in total, you won't be able to do as much volume. So you could just pick what you want, volume or intensity. If you want intensity, you'll do 50 in total. If you want volume, you'll do 50 each leg. And again, yeah, you won't do this straight 50 lunges. You'll do a couple, take a break, a couple, take a break. And after you do the 50 squats and the 50 lunges, you'll just go into 3 sets of 10 regular RDLs. And again, if you're using the rock, you'll also be working out your core and a little bit of your arms since since you're having to hold the rock. So yeah, this is just some stuff you could do if you're running low on equipment or you want to mix things up a little bit. And if you're running low on equipment and you want to train your neck, or if you want to find out why it's important to train your neck, I'll link a video on no equipment neck exercises you could do somewhere around here. I recommend checking that out, especially if you do contact or combat sports. But thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.